It's spring, April here in Michigan. After doing a lot of research over the winter, I finally feel like I know where I'm at as far as moving forward. What I've shown you previously has been a lot of pre-bonsai seedlings that are years and years away from actually becoming a bonsai tree because they need to go through growth, trunk thickening, root system development, and all that good stuff. So part of moving my repertoire forward, if you will, is starting to get some more mature material. That can come in a couple of ways. You can make a purchase for something like that that's going to cost you a fair amount of coin. Or you can do a couple of other things, which is purchase pre-bonsai material, more mature material that isn't yet in its final form of refinement, or in some cases anywhere near. That and Yamadori, which I expect to be bringing you soon. We are probably going to start this weekend with harvesting some Yamadori targets that we've identified over the last couple of months and last fall. Before we go down the bushwhacking rabbit hole that is Yamadori, I want to focus on some exciting new material that I just recently purchased. $100 bought me 3 different Trident Maples, one around a ½ inch, one around an inch, and this one with Nebari approximately 2.5 inches across at the base. I want to give this tree a refresh, a cleanse, and a new place to live heading into spring. Now, while Trident Maples are extremely popular for bonsai, they're actually kind of difficult to find. There were a few websites, but most of the material, though around the same size as this Trident, were around $300 to $500. This is the Trident. I collected a couple of pieces of material from northern Indiana, Fort Wayne this weekend, 3 different pieces. This is the largest of 3. One's about ½ inch thick, one's about 1 inch thick, and this guy, as you'll see in a minute, is about 2.5 inches across the Nebari on the bottom. So this is a nice piece of material, but it's certainly got some thickening up to do. The trunk itself looks like it's in a little bit of rough shape. That may just be how Tridents grow. This is my first Trident, but I am a little concerned about it. So I want to get it healthy. The guy I bought this from said that these have been sitting in pots for at least a couple of years, most of the trees that I grabbed, and you can tell the root system's completely out of control. It almost looks like it's sent up suckers, so I don't know how it's really doing, but the root system looks like it's extremely vigorous coming out the bottom of the pot. I'll show that in the detail cam in a second. Tools for the surgery itself include a couple of different size saws, some hand cutters, and some knob cutters for cleaning up our cuts, as well as some deciduous cut paste to seal those cuts. As noted, the root ball seems to be strong, with some strong roots growing thick through the pot itself. Right now it is spring, April 2. In Michigan, I'm in zone 6A, so we think that this is a good time to do this work, and then hopefully we pop up with a new flush in spring and get a healthy tree planted in new soil, give it a year or 2 to get vigorous again and healthy, and then I'm probably going to put this in the ground as a long-term project. Plant it on top of a piece of slate, all that good stuff. But first, I want to get it healthy for a couple of years. There's a massive taproot that I think is growing through the bottom of the pot and causing those thick roots coming out the bottom. The bottom line is that we're going to have to perform some major surgery here, and that taproot is going to have to go if we're going to get it into a horizontal container and start to grow that root system strong. I start by using the chopstick to work my way through some of the roots. But you can see I just chopped off about the bottom half of this whole root ball. And you see these massive roots sticking out here, 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 This looks like the tap. And then there's actually a beast over in this corner as well.
The more we cleared out the poor soil in this nursery pot, the more we discovered that this tree was not that healthy from a root system perspective. Those suckers actually are part of a separate plant that I had to remove.
After giving the root system a quick bath to loosen up the rest of the soil, I make my final cuts.
Again, the lack of fine roots does give us concern for the long-term health of this tree, but here's hoping.
We're trying to get that horizontal feel, and here's what we're left with in the end. Something that can fit into a horizontal pot. You see that large taproot has been cut. The stump is over to the left-hand corner in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen.
And now we're ready to move into a pot. Starting with a layer of Akadema for drainage, we add Bonsai Jack soil. You can look it up on Amazon for the mix itself and try to position the tree as best we can. Eventually we get to wiring. You see these pre-drilled wiring holes. Those will be used to wrap the tree in place. And keep in mind, this is attempt number 1 on my part. It didn't turn out as nice as I wanted, although I did secure the airline hose, which is another trick that I learned from Appalachian Bonsai. You can see the airline hose there. I looked at the pot that I had it in. Again, this was my first attempt at really scaling down a decent sized tree. And I didn't love A, the way that I wired it. I thought it was still a little bit too loose, and B, I thought that the pot, the 18 quart was a little bit too big. So we moved down to a 14 quart. You can see that soil level is a little bit higher in the rotational videos and the detail cam that I'll show here, but it looks a lot more sturdy. The wiring is a little bit better, and again, that soil level is a little bit higher, and we took some off the canopy. Afterwards, I gave it a little bit of a bath and rinsed it until it washed through clear. That's what Appalachian Bonsai says to do, and I trust him. So now we'll set it in the shade or inside in the garage if it's too cold. Keep it out of the sun. Keep it wet, moist but not wet. And we'll see how it recovers. Hopefully we see some new shoots coming up, this foliage, in the spring. So all in all, I think a success. As I mentioned, these two will probably go into the ground, thicken them up. This guy gets strong for about a year or maybe 2 seasons, and then into the ground. So our first major surgery on a tree, and in this case a more mature piece of material, is over. Each experience is only going to teach us more about how to handle different trees and species. As you saw, we did a canopy prune, a massive root prune, and a repot. I'm happy to report that the nervous wait for survival took 8 weeks, and this Trident Maple is now pushing beautiful spring foliage. This here a picture from May 31. Cheers everyone, thanks for watching. This is Great Lakes Bonsai.